Every life-changing moment begins quietly, often disguised as a simple choice I almost overlook. One decision, small on the surface, carries the weight to redirect the entire course of my life. I used to believe transformation was dramatic, loud, or marked by lightning strikes of luck and timing. But the truth is, it begins in silence, in the pause before I decide who I want to become. There was a time when I waited for clarity before taking action, never realizing clarity was born from movement. Each delay disguised itself as patience, but it was really fear wearing discipline's mask. I told myself the timing wasn't right, that I needed more proof, more validation, more confidence. But I was just postponing the version of me that already existed beneath the noise of hesitation. The mind resists change not because it doubts the dream, but because it fears losing the familiar self. Every comfort zone whispers safety, while quietly eroding my potential with each unchosen step. When I finally understood that no decision is neutral, I began to move with deeper awareness. Each yes and no carved a different future. Each hesitation closed a door that might never reopen. There is a silent strength in deciding, in choosing to live with direction instead of drifting with circumstance. That strength doesn't come from knowing the outcome, but from trusting my ability to handle it. I started small, a single habit, a call I avoided, a morning I refused to waste. Those moments built momentum, and momentum became identity, the quiet foundation of transformation. One decision became 2, then 10, until the distance between who I was and who I am widened. I began to feel an unshakable calm, not because life grew easier, but because I grew anchored. Every new decision felt less about fixing myself and more about expressing who I already was. It's strange how peace and power coexist when intention replaces reaction. I stopped chasing the perfect choice and started creating meaning through consistent ones. The question changed from "what if I fail" to "what if I never try?" And that single shift in language turned fear into direction, doubt into quiet determination. There's a freedom in realizing no one can decide for me, and that's not pressure, that's power. The weight of responsibility becomes lighter when I see it as the gift of authorship. Because in every moment, I am writing the next line of the story I'll someday call my life. I think about how different paths were always one choice away, waiting for me to step toward them. Maybe it's not about finding the right path, but about walking with the right intention. When I look back, the most defining decisions were never comfortable or convenient. They demanded honesty, courage, and sometimes a quiet rebellion against my old patterns. That's what growth feels like, the gentle breaking of who I was to make room for who I'm becoming. And in that process, I stopped seeking approval and started seeking alignment. The world outside didn't change overnight, but the way I moved within it completely did. There's an elegance in discipline, a beauty in consistency that most people overlook. When I chose to stay the course, even when nothing was certain, confidence began to form from repetition. And with that confidence came clarity, not the kind I waited for, but the kind I built. Now, every day feels like an open canvas, waiting for the brushstroke of a conscious decision. The distance between my dreams and my reality shrinks each time. I choose with presence. Some choices still scare me, but I've learned that fear is not a signal to stop. It's an invitation to evolve. The discomfort of growth is temporary. The regret of inaction lasts far longer. I remind myself that peace isn't found in avoiding risk, but in trusting my resilience through it. Every step forward proves I was always capable. I just needed to decide I was. And maybe that's the point. Power doesn't appear when I'm ready. It appears when I decide. So now, I stand at each crossroad differently, not with anxiety, but with quiet certainty. I know that one decision, made in alignment, can shift the gravity of my entire life. It might not happen instantly, but the trajectory changes the moment I say yes. The yes to discipline, to discomfort, to the unknown that shapes my becoming. Because every decision, whether small or grand, is a declaration of who I choose to be. I don't need a new life handed to me. I need to keep choosing the one I'm creating. And that choice, again and again, is what makes all the difference. In the end, I realize the gap between who I am and who I could be is just one decision wide. So I take a breath, feel the weight of the moment, and step forward consciously, fully, decisively. Because I know now, I am always one decision away from a completely different life.